Howdy guys, my name is Billy, aka the Reading Cowgirl, and welcome back to the channel. With 2025 officially being almost 2 weeks behind us, I thought it might be a good idea to show you my favorite reads of 2025. I read 200 books exactly in 2025, 11 of them being 5-star reads, 3 of them being originally written in Dutch, 2 being translated into Dutch, and the rest are all English. Just to show you all the books that I have tremendously enjoyed in 2025. I will show you the Dutch book rather quickly because, I mean, this is an English channel. First one being Mijn Tijd in de Zon, aka My Time in the Sun. This is a non-fiction book in which Xiu Zhangzhao tells their story of being a Chinese-Dutch person living in the Netherlands and the expectations of society and her family colliding and not really knowing what to do and who they are. This one was wonderful. I mostly listened to this one on audiobook, which is narrated by the author themselves. I really love, because I think it gives much more depth to an audiobook, especially when it comes to non-fiction, and I really like the author's voice as well. The author also designed the cover herself, so the pictures inside of the book. This was overall just wonderful and I cannot wait to read more of her. Then I read Zusje, aka Sister. In this book we follow Rivka, who is on a journey to ride her bike all the way from the Netherlands to Norway. Rivka has been raised in a very strong religious household. After a family tragedy has struck, she doesn't really know who she is and what to do with the world. During her journey she also comes to terms with her own sexuality, and I think this was just so beautiful. I cried so much. It's also not a very long book, and I've been really appreciating the trend of Dutch publishers publishing books who are aimed at a younger public, which are a lot shorter. A good example of that are the shorties published by Blossom Books, in which an author tells a full, complete story in less than 200 pages. Because as somebody who works in education, I've seen that children are mostly very intimidated by very long books. It kind of shows you don't need 600 pages to tell a very compelling story. And then it's like not really like a book. It's hard to describe this one. It's called Game Hell, aka Game Heroes. I've read the entire series this year, and this is like the 7th book, but it's not like really a book. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure book. And this one was so much fun. I first of all really like the book series as it is. It's very diverse. It has a diverse cast. One of the main characters is in a wheelchair, and they always like tagging him along into adventures, but also like keeping in mind that he is in a wheelchair. And I really love that. And you have to like, you know, be like, oh, I'm making a decision and I'm going to this one. And then, oh no, I died. I have to go back. I spent, I think, an hour and a half, almost 2 hours with this book. And it was honestly the most fun I had in a very long time. And it's like on the back, this book plays as a game. It was so much fun, and I really hope there will be more books in the Game Hell series because I've been enjoying it so much. There's a lot of humor in there, which is also fun for adults, and I've read books by this author before, and one thing he does really well is writing villains. His villains are always so funny and sassy. One of my favorite books of 2024 was the book he also wrote, mainly because I laughed out loud on multiple occasions because of things the villain said, because he was just so funny. And I really think we should have more funny villains. Overall, this was just 5 stars pure for enjoyment. And then I read 2 translated books. The first one being Where Our Worlds Collide, which is a beautiful book in which we follow 3 teens who are witnesses to a horrific crime, and the 3 main characters are the only one to help him. It starts a story about the victim blaming, but also like finding your own place in a world where nobody believes you. And it also opens up a conversation about racism within the police force, and I thought it was not only very beautiful, but it's also a very important story to tell. I just thought it was a very wonderful and important book. Yes. I was so scared to read this one because The Hunger Games is one of my favorite series of all time, and I was very excited about Sunrise on the Reaping. I went to a release party for the book before work. My work started at like 10 and the release party was at 8 and it was in Amsterdam. So I hopped on the train at 6 in the morning, was there on time, left after like 30 minutes because I had to go to my job. But it was extremely fun, and I was gifted this beautiful edition by the Dutch publisher. It was amazing. I reread the original trilogy and President Snow's book before I got into this one because I just really wanted to like refresh my mind, and I'm very happy that I did. And I keep recommending to everybody who is going to read this book to reread the other books first. I cried so much. I remember waking up at like 4 or like 4:30 because I had to get up to the train station quite early and just put on the audiobook right away. So I was like halfway through the book by the time I got to like the actual event, and I finished it, I want to say like before noon that day. And over the event I was getting coffee at like a small like shop at the station, and then I don't want to spoil too much, but like the line of "my dad wants to meet you," like the line was in my ears. Well, me getting like standing in line for a coffee, and I was like bawling my eyes out and be like, "Can I please get a cappuccino with oat milk, please?" It was just, this book broke me on so many levels, and I cannot wait for the movie. It was just so good. I've read it in Dutch. I read all the Hunger Games books in Dutch, and I literally refuse to read them in English. I grew up reading them when I couldn't speak English or read in English. I think the translation has just been amazingly done, and I've just really, really loved this one. And then a book, I love it so much. I read it twice this year. I only counted it once for the reading challenge though. It was The Romantic Tragedies of a Drama King. I was gifted a audiobook arc by NetGalley, and I listened to it like not having that much high expectations, and it was so fun. I read it at work in like the week like where we didn't have like any classes to teach, and it was just like, you know, doing little tasks, and I was just like, yeah, give me another silly task, give me another stupid task, I need to finish this audiobook. And it was great, and it was wonderful. And then it was translated into Dutch, and I was gifted a copy by the Dutch publisher. This one was just amazing. I keep telling myself it's only bloody pie, and it's been helping, and that's been really good for my mental health. It was just, this book was so much fun, and I found out that there is going to be a sequel, and I cannot wait. You know, sometimes books are 5 stars because they are DNA altering that good, and I've cried my eyes out, and I still keep thinking of them daily, you know, as Sky Beyond the Storm, even though it's been like, I want to say 4 years since I finished that book. This one was just fun. I laughed, I think I even cried at one point. It was just so funny. And I think, you know, you can also give books 5 stars because you just enjoyed them so goddamn much. We follow Patch. And Patch is 16, and he's gay, and he's in high school, and he wants to have a boyfriend. And then 2 new kids at his school show up, and he's like, yes, this is my moment. I'm going to make one of them mine. And it's also about theatre and musicals and drama, and it was just so funny. It was just so funny. And also the main character is kind of an asshole, but I love that he was kind of an asshole, because he's 16. He's allowed to be an asshole. It was just wonderful. A book I gave 5 stars because I cried my eyes out, as long as Lemon 3 grows. I read this one and 3 other 5-star books in the last 4 days of the year. I here, by the way, also have the beautiful Lumicrate edition that I purchased because I needed motivation to actually read the book. I met the author, I want to say like 2 or 3 years ago at an event in Amsterdam. She was wonderful. She signed the book. She signed the book for my mom, who was allowed to come with me, which was amazing. And since then I've been dying to read it. I just knew that it wasn't like a book I should read when I was like not feeling that well. But Bo, a dear friend of mine, kept pushing me to actually read it because it's really good, and it is really good. We follow Salma, a girl who lives in Syria, who unfortunately lost almost all of her family members because of the war. And her one mission in life is to keep her sister-in-law safe, because that's the last promise she made to her brother before he went missing. And during the book we kind of like follow her struggle with her wanting to leave Syria amidst the revolution, but also the fact that there are many reasons she actually wants to stay. I think it was just so beautiful. I almost tear up thinking about it. It was amazing, and I think this is like one of those books everybody should read. Then, because I made my way through my Lumicrate and Afterlight piles, I have 3 books left from that stack. First of all, To Build a Boyfriend Project, which we follow trans man Eli, who kind of hates his job and he kind of wants a more writery position at the website he works at. And after a terrible date, his boss is like, well, why don't you like basically write an article about how you're gonna fix this boy? So he does. But in the meantime, he's secretly writing another article about how it's to be queer and Asian in the South, because the man he's been on that terrible date with, Peter, is from Korean descent and does not have a lot of experience with dating. And in the meantime, he gets to know Peter better and better, and he kind of starts having doubts about this whole project. I thought it was funny, it was cute. I think when we talk about romance book, we mostly focus on books written by women, but this one was really great, and I really love Mason Deaver's work, and I really wish we would pay more attention to romance books written by non-binary people or men. Then Voyage of the Damned. I remember this book coming out in, I want to say January 2024, and it's being a Lumicrate, and me being so excited about reading it, and I never got to it until December 29th. Follow a man named Genjimedes, or D, who is a blessed of one of the 12 provinces of his country, and with the other blessed, he's like on a boat because they need to go to a certain mountain to, I don't know, appease their god. And then people start dying, and that kind of sucks. And the main character is kind of an asshole, but he knows he's an asshole, but he's an asshole for a good reason. It's kind of complicated, and he's starting to investigate like who the hell is killing people on the boat. Also, his ex-boyfriend is also on there, so that's kind of extra drama. This was just fun. This was a fun fun read. I gave it 5 stars because I'm just enjoying myself so much. And then The Phoenix Keeper, which I read on December 30th, in which we follow Isla, a phoenix keeper who works in a magical zoo. And her #1 dream is to breed phoenixes because they are an endangered species and she wants to help save them. And throughout the book we follow her story and how she's doing her darnest best to be head of the best breeding program of phoenixes ever. But there are poachers lurking around the corner. And in the meantime, she also kind of falls in love. This was just also a very fun read. This main character was at times also a bit of not a good friend. And I fully had canon Isla as like autistic, because she's so focused on what she wants to do and what like her dreams are that she kind of blindsided by the dreams of her own friends. And I think that was a very interesting like little side plot in the book. Overall, this one was funny, it was cute, it was adorable, and I really liked all the magical creatures. I'll just show the beautiful art in the book. And there's like ducks that just like disappear and then reappear, and they're just adorable. And I had like peacock griffins. I just thought the book was very, very cute. I also have another book by this author lying around which I really want to read in 2026 because I really like her writing style. And if you've counted along with me, you've noticed that I have discussed 10 books right now, which means it's time to discuss number 11, aka my favorite book of the year, Tusk Love. I have the alternate dust jacket on. I don't know where I have the original cover because I own 2 copies of this book. I'll quickly show you the original one. This is the original cover, but I have it like this because this is like the Critical Role cover. If you're new to the channel, hi, I'm Billy and I'm slightly obsessed with Critical Role. I'm going to see them live this year in Edinburgh and I cannot wait. So, long story short, in the second Dungeons & Dragons campaign of the actual play show Critical Role, they make jokes about a very raunchy and smutty book called Tusk Love, and then they made Tusk Love an actual book. But the thing is, the book was actually really, really good. I went into this book thinking that it was going to be bad, but like good bad. And then there was plot, and the plot was really good, and it made me cry, and yes, there was a lot of smut in the book, but also the smut was really, really good. This was just so much fun, and it was everything I needed it to be. And I love that like the characters from the D&D show actually like made little blurbs on it because it's the favorite book of Laura Bailey's character Jessa Lavore. It was so fun. I just enjoyed it so much. This is also the second year in a row where a most anticipated release also turned out to be my favorite book of the year. Thinking about what my most anticipated release of 2026 is going to be, I really, really hope that also will be my favorite book. Oh, I completely forgot to tell you what the book is about. Okay, so we follow a woman named Genevieve, and she has like magical sorcerer powers which she cannot control. And on her way to, I don't know, be like married off, she get like ransacked, and the people she's traveling with get killed, and then she's saved by an orc named Oscar, and then he promises her to like deliver her to where she needs to be. But in the meantime they fall in love, and it has like forced proximity and sunshine, it's grumpy. It was everything I needed the book to be and better. And what I also really liked is that one, it was featured in a Dutch book box. It has not been translated, but every once in a while they do English books. And 2, a lot of people who really love the book have no idea about Critical Role. So I would just really hope that, you know, more people get excited about Critical Role because I just love that so much. So yeah, these were all my 5-star reads of 2025. Please let me know down in the comments which was your favorite book of 2025 and if you've read any of these books. And for now, I will see you guys next week.